Hello there. The Brexit negotiations are at a very difficult stage, says number 10, while President Macron just demands more poisson. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost, and I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily, and a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. Isn't it good to see the EU 27 united in their Brexit stance, just as the pro-EU lobby in the UK warned that they would? That is, if you ignore Ireland pleading for a deal and France saying no chance of anything that makes the UK look like it's won anything, and Barnier rushing around between the EU 27. Actually, at the moment, the mood music coming out of the talks is that the UK is holding extremely firm to its red lines, and it's the EU that is wobbling as their negotiator Michel Barnier tries to tailor the talks 27 different ways. And then there's the psyching out as each side puts out a message about a deal is close and then it's not, etc. And all this has now even got the BBC interested. They spent more time talking about Brexit today than they have for the last 2 weeks. And they say the same as commentators like me have been saying for weeks. It all hinges on the level playing field, fisheries and governance of the deal once it's signed. With the UK rightfully sticking to its sovereign nation stance, while Brussels still argues that the UK must hand over most of its fish, agree to be tied down by Brussels rules, and allow the ECJ to punish us if we get out of line by becoming too successful. But in the background we have Macron who, as I explained in a recent video, is coming up for election in about 18 months' time and is looking for any way to bolster his flagging popularity. But the only thing that everyone totally agrees on is that time is fast running out for both sides to agree on a deal. There are now only 27 days to go until the end of the Brexit implementation period, and given the political and legal situation, it would be impossible to extend that period. So on the face of it, it's either deal or no deal. There seems no other option. Except that in the event of a no-deal scenario, we would probably see a lot of temporary minor agreements made, covering a patchwork of issues such as road and air transport, as well as such things as information sharing on security matters, for example. And in many ways that might well be a far better option for the UK, because as I've mentioned before, a new trade deal would emerge from that, from actual trading and national necessities on both sides, not from some preconceived ideas that might tie one or both sides down later. With the only sticking point being the terms of the original withdrawal agreement signed by Boris in the lead up to our legally leaving the bloc on the 31st of January this year. But in the meantime, we'll have to endure the constant talk of, we're almost there, but then no we're not, from spokespeople on both sides. An EU official has already said today that a trade deal was imminent, and that we could expect it to emerge this weekend, even though the talk was that both sides were standing firm to their red lines. But in response, we had Boris Johnson's spokesman saying, "Time is in very short supply, and we are at a very difficult point in the talks. And then, very importantly, what is certain is that we will not be able to agree a deal which doesn't respect our fundamental principles on sovereignty and taking back control." Now, Michel Barnier was due to be briefing EU 27 national envoys by video conference today, but that's been called off while he stays in London for more talks well into the night. And he also said that today is an important day. Read into that what you'll think. While a spokesman for the envoys, Sebastian Fischer, told everyone to keep their fingers crossed and stay tuned. And if you thought that the new Brexit deal deadline was the 10th of December, then think again. Sky News reports, Charles Michel, head of the European Council, did not even set a deadline of the 10th of December when EU leaders are due to gather for a summit when asked by a journalist if that was the latest point a deal could be struck by. It's unfortunate that it took longer than planned, but we're still currently negotiating, and Michel Barnier is leading the negotiations, so we'll see over the next few days what the next steps are, he said in a briefing on Friday. So it looks like this saga might interrupt a few Christmas holiday plans. The UK Business Secretary Alok Sharma said that we are at a critical point and it is fair to say that we are in a difficult phase. There are some tricky issues still to be resolved. Now, if there is an agreement, then there is very little time left for proper scrutiny. It would probably need MPs and Lords preparing for some marathon sessions, with a large proportion of them looking to derail it in favour of Brussels, no doubt. But what should really worry the rest of us is that we had months and months of people poring over the withdrawal agreement and, despite all the warnings, they still signed the UK up to it. And then we found that the EU was quite willing to reinterpret the Northern Ireland Protocol to their own entire satisfaction, while assuming the UK would bow down and agree to be bossed about by the ECJ. So is there any doubt that Brussels will take the same approach to any new deal we sign with them? But all this might end up being moot, because the UK government is bringing the UK Internal Market Bill back to the House of Commons on Monday to consider the amendments the House of Lords made to it. If you remember, Peers removed the clauses that seek to protect the UK internal market from interference by Eurocrats. But the red bench polishers decided that would never do, so they voted to ditch them. Now, Boris Johnson has said he will reinsert those clauses and get them through and onto the statute books. And on top of that, the government is due to publish a new finance bill, and this new bill is reported to include clauses along the lines of the contentious UK Internal Market Bill clauses. And that will definitely put the feline amongst the Columbidae, because the EU has stated that should these clauses persist, then the deal is off. The Independent reports on this. Meanwhile, with just days left to secure a deal and tensions already high in Brussels, Mr Johnson's government announced it will bring two bills in possible violation of the Brexit withdrawal agreement before the Commons next week, which it claims is necessary to prevent a border in the Irish Sea. Michel Barnier has reportedly told EU envoys such a breach of trust would plunge the talks into irreparable crisis. And that sends me a big message, that Barnier does not envisage a deal that would make those clauses redundant. Anyway, as far as I can see, the finance bill hasn't been published yet, and I can't find it mentioned in the House of Commons' upcoming business either. And with only 8 programmed sitting days for Parliament left before Christmas and the New Year, things are getting squeaky tight. But if Brussels does pull the rug from under a deal, then it would completely shift the political dynamics. And apart from the likes of the SNP, most of Parliament would, I think, suddenly be minded to back the UK cause for once by getting the relevant legislation through in time. Or forever be viewed as a, less than a UK loyalist. I'd hate to use the T word that they hate so much. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below, and support me on Patreon or PayPal. So what do you think about all of this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.